Can Kong defeat other versions of Godzilla? Since the Monsterverse has definitely cemented their version of Kong is nowhere really near Godzilla's power level, could he defeat other versions of Godzilla? Today we find out. Hey guys, it's your resident New Empire hater here to tell you whether or not Kong can actually survive against other versions of Godzilla. So I think we can get this out of the way. He's going to grab 98's neck and snap it like a twig. Anyone who disagrees, well, we can make fun of them. But what about other Reiwa Godzillas? How about Shin, Minus, Earth, Ultima, or Final War? Well, as I've covered before, I think Legendary Godzilla is a significantly higher level than creatures like Shin, Minus, and Final, at least in his base form. But does Kong truly compare? Enough shitting on Kong. Time to give him some actual proper dues. He was able to box with and overpower Camazotz, who is stated to be at an alpha sort of level for a kaiju. Alphas still have to be strong enough to fight other kaiju. Of course, we know that Camazotz is a victim to anything with light, and is stated inferior to Rodan, but he should still be at a pretty decent level of power. Kong, too, was able to survive the gravitational inversion of the Hollow Earth vortexes. This is interesting because these things can return the gravity of the entire planet onto their target. His feat calculates all the way up to 313 pentatons for our large ape friend, a decent degree into multi-continental. One could also reason that he should be able to scale to, at the very least, the holding back atomic breath Godzilla used to dig into the Hollow Earth, since he did take a blast that was actually meant to fight. We know that Godzilla wasn't really trying during that blast, so I don't want to hear any cope about, but it's big and glowing. Kong survived a stronger blast to his back, and was relatively fine, and he could also absorb stronger blasts with his axe, and withstand the recoil. He was also able to take a blast from Shimo, with his axe at least, with Kong later saying in the book that he felt that Shimo was stronger than the Godzilla he fought before. So, he can bear the raw force, at least, of blasts of the multi-continental range. The blast to the core is at least 40 pentatons of TNT, all the way up to 10 zetatons, using the book information. This means that Kong can take up to small planet levels of energy before fumbling. Any Titan above Kong is stated able to destroy the entire planet, or has many just sort of earth-busting sorts of statements and large planet-level scaling. So for Kong to be small planetary doesn't really seem inconsistent, especially when it's stated he could destroy the world too, with earth-shattering punches. What about speed? Obviously Kong is one of the faster creatures in the Monsterverse, although slower than the Scar King. He is able to somewhat keep up with him. The same Scar King who could at the very least avoid Godzilla's atomic breath, which is Cherenkov radiation, and moves at least relativistic plus speeds, 75% the speed of light. With Mechagodzilla being able to intercept Godzilla's atomic breath with its proton screen, being shown about 2 times faster than the beam. Ghidorah's gravity beams are also stated to be about the same speed by Mechagodzilla's designer, and Godzilla could sort of react to these in Boston when he was powered up. And we know that Evolved Godzilla is faster than his base form, and Kong can still somewhat keep up. This should cement Kong at least relativistic to faster than light. In terms of attack potency, he was, of course, able to beat the aforementioned Camazotz, defeat creatures that could survive the Hollow Earth, and even casually crush a heave which can also take the same pressure, at least another multi-continental feat. His blows are able to somewhat affect Godzilla, and while Godzilla was toying with him, the fact he did anything and Godzilla thought he was worth fighting still does mean that he is impressive. There are hype statements saying he is the second strongest creature on the planet, but that's clearly false, especially with New Empire information. Mothra, Godzilla, and Shimo being stronger than GVK Kong. New Empire Kong is stated to be stronger, but unquantifiably. Now, onto the competition. Now, despite what I just said, Kong is still no weakling, so it very much confuses me, like, a lot, when a lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people, will say that Shin Godzilla can beat adult Kong, and, yeah, I actually don't agree with that at all. Not only is Shin Godzilla pretty weak physically, but with its internal nuclear reactor, being able to be destroyed, there's actually a good chance Kong could actually kill Shin despite his regeneration. Then I hear people unironically, deadass, defend that adult Kong cannot survive a nuke. Like a normal nuke. Not Kaiju super nuke. Normal nuke. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call advanced stupid. So, you people are going to somehow defend that Kong actually compares to evolved Godzilla, like at all, and then think a nuclear bomb can kill him. The same Godzilla who got superior to when he casually blasted through the core of the planet, which no nuke can do.
But the heat.
Motherfucker, heat is a transfer of energy, so since Godzilla can generate more energy, Kong is durable enough to take a nuke. This is not complex. He clears Shin no difficulty. Now to a slightly harder opponent, -1. -1, despite his small size, packs a lot of firepower, way higher than Shin's. As we've covered previously, -1 can blast with at least 17 megatons of TNT, and will take quite a lot longer to actually put down. This is because his regeneration is a lot more passive than Shin's. The parts themselves can also start regrowing too. And while that's also true for Shin, Minus doesn't have a nuke inside him that will blow up if ever he's really damaged. But since Kong is way stronger, there's still a very good chance he can just turn Minus into goop with a good amount of punches, I guess. He may be caught lacking by Minus's explosion, but that's really all I can see. 2 down, 3 to go. Now on to everyone's favorite, Final Wars. This would be an interesting match for Kong. It would be the first time he'd actually be stronger than Godzilla. Kong would be on the slower end compared to Final. This wouldn't be the first time he's been speed blitzed, since he was pretty badly blitzed by the Scar King. While he was faster than Mechagodzilla normally, chances are he'd be pretty badly blitzed by his thrusters. But with that in mind, how would this fight go? So with Kong having a slight physical edge in terms of strength, I think Final can make advantage of his skill. He's a much better fighter in melee than Kong is, but this may be the first time Kong actually has to use his weapons. So with that in mind, could Kong's axe absorb Final Wars' breath? I think it could, considering that Final's breath is not stronger, doesn't really have many special abilities, so I don't quite see why the axe wouldn't be able to at least block it. And Kong could take at least some brief exposure, considering he took exposure to GVK's beam when he was holding back. As for Kong's stamina, he's definitely got more stamina. He fought Godzilla for nearly 12 hours straight after all. But higher speed, higher skill, a quick charge fast blast that he can spam. Final Wars will be a definitely challenging opponent. And he's definitely stronger than fodder like Scar King, so Kong may be in some trouble. Though punches from the Beast Glove are probably putting Final flat on his ass. I mean, yeah, he only caught Pink off guard, but Legendary's more durable than Final anyway, and he at least felt the combo of punches. So Final's definitely feeling that. If the axe can absorb the breath, that actually gives him a means of hurting him substantially. Final Wars can grow stronger over time, but it doesn't seem to be a vast increase. So I think Kong would actually win this fight with high difficulty. Now you may be looking around the room, wait a minute, well who's left? And then the mountain begins to stand. An enemy the likes of which Kong has never seen before. Godzilla Earth. Unfortunately for our ape friend, Godzilla Earth is a completely different monster. The only way you could get Kong to last even 2 seconds against him is if you use the super questionable highballs from the Monsterverse, from Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and from a couple statements from Greg Keyes, the novel author. Even then, if you somehow get Kong comparable to Godzilla Earth, he'd still be in a lot of trouble fighting him. Earth's beam range is stupid. The plasma cutter is stupid. Has stupid range and stupid explosive potential. Kong has to get past the shield. Earth can regenerate super quickly. He's not stupid either. He's got the physical strength to toss a mountain. The shield only turns off briefly and reforms anyway. So, yeah, I mean, even if you wank Kong to solar system level, Earth is stronger. He will get stronger as he fights. Probably absorb any radiation Kong gives off. He definitely hacks bullies, and I don't know how you could argue Kong could kill Godzilla Earth. This bastard can regenerate from like whole organs in seconds. Like, what is Kong supposed to do exactly? Even with the Beast Glove and the charged axe, I don't see how he can win this fight. Since Kong has died, this leaves us to a more interesting conversation. Gemstone Godzilla is pretty interesting to scale. While his own feats are okay-ish, they're only about city level just off raw feats, you can easily argue he's at least country level or multi-continental off of any basic previous Godzilla lore, which he is at least sort of compared to Heisei. So if we assume a Heisei temperature, he's at least multi-continental, if not way higher. But he is stated to be the strongest Godzilla and have unseen power, so you could at least argue that he might be above the black hole busting feat from Godzilla Earth. If you don't say that, Kong can win. If you do, the Gemstone murders him. And if you're in the wrong camp of thinking that Gemstone is Godzilla Jr., come on, what the fuck is Kong supposed to do? He just dies instantly.